I watched my wife kiss my best friend through a sauna window at 6:25 p.m. on September 14th, exactly 3 hours after I checked into the hotel where we were supposed to celebrate our 5th anniversary. And the only thing that stopped me from opening that door was knowing I had something better planned. If you've got some time and maybe something to drink, settle in. This one's going to take a minute. So why did I stand there for 90 days pretending I didn't know? Why did I smile at dinner tables, text "I love you" before bed, and act like everything was fine, while gathering evidence like I was building a criminal case? Because sometimes the best revenge isn't the quickest one, it's the one they never see coming. Before that night, I had what I thought was a pretty solid life. Good marriage, or so I believed. Best friend since college. Decent job as a physical therapist in Portland. Nothing fancy but stable, comfortable. I was one of those guys who thought he had it all figured out. Loyal wife, loyal friends, clear path forward. Turns out, I didn't know shit. Let me take you back to the beginning, because this story doesn't start in that hotel sauna. It starts way before that, with all the little signs I ignored, because I wanted to believe the best in people. That was always my problem. I trusted too easily. I thought being kind meant being blind. I met Jessica 9 years ago at University of Oregon. I was the quiet physical therapy major. She was the outgoing marketing student who somehow decided I was worth talking to at a house party. I remember that night clearly. I was standing in the corner nursing a beer, watching Brandon work the room like he always did, and she just walked up to me. "You look like you'd rather be anywhere else," she said. "Is it that obvious? Only to people who are paying attention." She smiled. "I'm Jessica." We talked for 3 hours, about everything, her dreams of starting her own marketing firm someday, my plans to open a sports therapy clinic, how we both felt like outsiders trying to figure out where we fit. She made me feel seen, in a way I'd never experienced before. We balanced each other out, or at least that's what everyone said. She brought me out of my shell. I gave her stability. Classic story, right? We dated through college, had our ups and downs like everyone does, but always found our way back. I remember our first anniversary. She made me this scrapbook of our relationship with ticket stubs and photos and little notes about memories. I still have it somewhere. Can't bring myself to throw it away, even though looking at it now feels like reading fiction. We moved in together after graduation. A tiny apartment in Eugene that we could barely afford, but it was ours. I'd come home from my first PT job exhausted, and she'd have wine and takeout waiting. We'd watch terrible reality TV and laugh about nothing. Those were good years. Simple, happy. Brandon was there through all of it, of course. My best friend since freshman year when we got randomly assigned as roommates. We were complete opposites. He was the life of every party. I was the designated driver. He dated half the campus. I dated Jessica, and only Jessica, but somehow it worked. We bonded over late-night gaming sessions when we should have been studying, basketball games where we screamed ourselves hoarse, supporting each other through breakups and bad grades and family drama. I was there when his dad had a heart attack junior year. Drove him home, stayed with him at the hospital. He was there when my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer, sat with me in waiting rooms, distracted me with stupid jokes. We built what I thought was a genuine brotherhood over 11 years. The kind where you don't have to say much because you already know what the other person is thinking. He even stood up as my groomsman at the wedding, gave this heartfelt speech about me being the best guy he knew, about how he'd never seen two people more perfect for each other than Jessica and me. I remember Jessica crying during her vows, promising to love me, to be faithful, to build a life together. Her voice cracked when she said the word faithful. At the time, I thought it was emotion. Now I wonder if it was guilt for what she already knew she was capable of. My parents insisted we sign a prenup. Jessica's lawyer called it archaic, but she signed it anyway. It had this adultery clause that seemed like a formality at the time. Just a cover our bases thing that would never actually matter. God, the irony. The first 6 months, maybe the first few years of marriage were good. Normal. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our Friday date nights. Brandon was around a lot, grabbing beers, watching games at our place, barbecues in the summer. It felt like family. That's what made it so much worse later. He wasn't just some random guy. He was at our house, eating food I cooked, sitting on our couch, meeting my eyes and asking how I was doing, while secretly fucking my wife. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The cracks started showing maybe 6 months before that anniversary weekend. Small things. Jessica working late more often. Vague explanations about client meetings and open houses that ran long. She'd come home at 9 or 10 p.m., tired, claiming she'd barely had time to eat. I'd have dinner waiting. "You're so sweet," she'd say, kissing my forehead like I was a child. Not her husband, a child. Brandon started canceling our guys' nights. "Work's crazy, bro. Rain check." He'd been calling me bro since college. I used to think it was endearing. Now the word makes my skin crawl. I remember one night in July coming home early from the clinic because I'd finished my patient load. Brandon's truck was parked outside our house. I walked in and found them in the living room, watching a basketball game, beers open on the coffee table. They both jumped a little when I walked in. "Hey, man," Brandon said, too enthusiastically. "I texted you about coming by, but you didn't answer. Hope it's cool." "Of course," I said, because that's what I did. I made things easy. I was cool, easygoing Daniel who never questioned anything. "Last-minute plans," Jessica added, not looking at me. I sat down and watched the game with them. The whole time, something in my gut was screaming, but I ignored it. "Don't be that guy," I told myself. "Don't be jealous of your own best friend. That's pathetic. If you've ever ignored a red flag because acknowledging it felt worse than living in denial, you know exactly what I mean." By August, things got weirder. Jessica became critical in this way she never had been before. "You're so predictable, Daniel. Don't you ever want to do something spontaneous? We're so boring." I tried to be less boring. Planned surprise date nights. Bought her flowers randomly. Learned to make her favorite pasta from scratch. But nothing seemed to satisfy her. She'd smile, say thank you, then retreat to her phone. Brandon got weirdly invested in our marriage, too. "You guys doing okay?" he'd ask, this concerned look on his face. "You seem comfortable, like too comfortable." I thought he was looking out for me, being a good friend, caring about my happiness. My sister Emily visited in early September. She's a nurse, observant as hell, doesn't miss anything. After dinner, while Jessica was in the shower, Emily pulled me aside. "Is everything okay with you two?" "Yeah, why?" "She seems different, distant, like she's somewhere else even when she's here." I defended Jessica immediately, made excuses. She's stressed with work. Real estate market's tough right now. Emily didn't look convinced, but she dropped it. 2 weeks later, I planned the anniversary surprise. 5 years married. I wanted to do something special, remind her why we worked. I booked a weekend at the Heathman Hotel in Portland, made reservations at that Italian restaurant she loved, scheduled a couple's massage. I was going to be the perfect husband, show her I could be spontaneous and romantic. I told Brandon about it over text. "Anniversary weekend, bro. Taking the wife to Portland." His response came 5 minutes later. "Nice, man. You guys deserve it." I felt optimistic for the first time in months. Maybe this would fix things. Maybe we just needed quality time together, away from work stress and daily routines. I had no idea I was walking into the worst night of my life. The plan was to drive up Friday evening, both of us getting there around 6 p.m. But Thursday night everything changed. I was at the clinic late, finishing patient charts, when Jessica texted, "So excited for tomorrow, I'll pack tonight." It felt warm, reassuring, like maybe we were going to be okay. Then Brandon texted, "Yo, weekend plans?" "Anniversary trip with Jess," I responded. Right. Have fun, bro. You two are goals. Something about his response felt off. Too casual, like he was performing normal. But I dismissed it. I was always dismissing things. Friday morning, I had an early shift at the clinic. I told Jessica I'd meet her at the hotel by 6 p.m. She was still in bed when I left, hair messy, looking beautiful, in that way she did in the mornings. Actually, she said, checking her phone, I have a showing that might run late. I'll meet you there by 8. Want me to wait? We can check in together. No. You go ahead, relax. I'll text when I'm close. Red flag. Giant, waving red flag. But I accepted it, because I always did. At work, I mentioned the anniversary weekend to Marcus, my colleague, and one of the few friends I'd made outside my college circle. Nice man. You and Jessica are solid. Yeah, I said. Then after a pause, yeah, we are. Marcus picked up on the hesitation. You good? I admitted I'd been feeling weird lately. Like something was off, but I couldn't pinpoint what. Trust your gut, man, Marcus said. But also, sometimes we get paranoid for no reason. Marriage is complicated. I wish I'd trusted my gut sooner. I left work at 4 p.m., stopped to buy flowers, and drove to Portland. Traffic was light, so I got to the Heathman around 5:30, way earlier than planned. I decided to surprise Jessica by getting to the room first. Maybe setting up the flowers, having champagne waiting. I parked in the hotel garage and immediately saw a truck that looked exactly like Brandon's. Same model, same color, same dent in the back bumper from when he'd backed into a pole at a party sophomore year. My stomach dropped. I stared at that truck for a full minute, trying to rationalize it. Portland's a big city, lots of trucks. People get dents all the time. This is coincidence. It has to be. I texted Brandon casually. Where you at tonight? No response. I walked into the hotel lobby at 5:40, hands shaking slightly, heart pounding in this way that made me feel stupid. I was being paranoid. Jessica was on her way from a client showing. Brandon was wherever, doing whatever. That truck was just a truck. The front desk clerk smiled at me. Name? Martinez. Daniel Martinez. She typed into her computer. Yes, Mr. Martinez. Your wife checked in about an hour ago. Everything stopped. What? Your wife. She's already in the room. Room 412. Are you sure? The clerk looked confused. Yes, she checked in around 4:30. Is everything all right? My mouth was dry. Yeah, which room? 412, 4th floor. Here's your key card. I took it with numb fingers and walked to the elevator. My mind was racing. Maybe she got here early to surprise me. Maybe she wanted to set up the room. Maybe there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I texted her. Hey babe, running a few minutes early. Where are you? No response. In the elevator, I checked our shared location app. Jessica's dot was at the hotel. Right here. Right now. Relief washed over me, then confusion. If she's here, why isn't she in the room? The elevator dinged on the 4th floor. I walked down the hallway, used the key card on room 412. The door opened to an empty room. Bed made. No luggage. No Jessica. I texted again. I'm here. Where are you? No response. I called. Straight to voicemail. That's when real panic set in. I spent the next 20 minutes walking the hotel, bar, restaurant, spa area, lobby. No Jessica anywhere. My texts got more frantic. Jess, I'm getting worried. Where are you? Finally, she responded. Sorry. Showing ran late. Still in Beaverton. Be there by 8:30. Love you. But her location showed she was at the hotel. Right here. Right now. My hands started shaking. There's a reasonable explanation. There has to be. Maybe her phone's GPS is glitching. Maybe she left it here somehow. Maybe. Then I remembered the hotel gym, 3rd floor, sauna area. I don't know why I thought to check there. Instinct, maybe. Or just elimination. I took the stairs down, walked past the empty gym, and saw the sauna room door at the end of the hallway. I opened it. Steam everywhere. 2 figures through the fog. Jessica, Brandon, his hands on her waist, her hands in his hair, kissing like they'd done this 1,000 times before. I stood there for what felt like an hour but was probably 5 seconds, just staring, my brain trying to make it make sense, trying to unsee what I was seeing. Then I quietly closed the door and backed away before they noticed. I made it to the stairwell, sat on the concrete steps, head between my knees, couldn't breathe, couldn't think, just kept seeing them over and over, my wife, my best friend, on our anniversary. I don't know how long I sat there. 5 minutes, 20. Time stopped meaning anything. My phone buzzed. Jessica's text, still on the screen. Showing ran late, still in Beaverton. A lie. Another buzz. Brandon finally responding to my earlier text. Just chilling at home. Why? Another lie. I almost threw up right there in the stairwell. Part of me wanted to burst back in there. Scream, confront them, watch them scramble for excuses. But something stopped me. Maybe it was shock, maybe it was strategy. If I confront them now, they'll minimize it. Gaslight me. Call it a mistake, a one-time thing, a moment of weakness. A cold thought entered my mind. What if I just leave? And watch what they do? I stood up, wiped my face, and went back to room 412. Grabbed my overnight bag. I hadn't even unpacked. Took the flowers I'd bought and left them on the bed, with the room key. No note, nothing. Walked to the front desk. I need to check out. Emergency at home. The clerk looked concerned. But your wife. She'll be fine. Just tell her I had to leave if she asks. I drove home on autopilot. Crying, then laughing, then completely numb. The radio played love songs until I turned it off. Sat in silence the whole way. Got home around 8 p.m. Sat in my driveway for 20 minutes, staring at our house, our home, the place where I thought we were building a life together. It felt contaminated now, like a crime scene. My phone started buzzing, Jessica's texts flooding in. I'm here, where are you? Daniel? The front desk said you checked out. What happened? I'm worried. Please call me. Are you okay? Did something happen at work? The audacity of her concern made me want to scream. I didn't respond. Instead, I went through the house, like a detective. Her car in the garage. Glove compartment. Found hotel receipts tucked under the floor mat. The Heath man, the Sentinel, the Nines, all from the past 6 months. All on nights she'd claimed to be at work events or client dinners. I found text threads on her laptop that she'd forgotten to delete from the cloud. Contact name, J. Obviously, fake. Messages like, can't wait to see you, and he's working late again, and same time Thursday? I found Brandon's sweatshirt in our laundry basket, the Nike one with the University of Oregon logo. Jessica had said she must have grabbed it by mistake at the gym. There was no gym mistake. There was no mistake at all. This was calculated, systematic. They'd been doing this for months. In my house. In our bed, probably. I counted the receipts. At least 6 months of hotels, maybe longer. Around 2 a.m. I heard the garage door open. Jessica walked in, pretending to be confused and worried. Daniel, what happened? Why did you leave? I was sitting on the couch in the dark, completely calm. Eerily calm. How was your showing? What? It ran late, I told you. You texted me from the hotel. Her face changed, just slightly. A flicker of panic. I stopped by to change. Stop! Long silence. The air felt thick. Did you see something? Get out. Daniel, I can explain. Get out of my sight. This is my house too. Then I'll leave. I cannot look at you right now. I grabbed my keys and left. Drove to Marcus's house. Woke him up at 3 a.m. He opened the door, saw my face, and just said, "Come in." I told him everything, every detail, the sauna, the lies, Brandon. Brandon? Marcus looked like I'd punched him. You're Brandon, best man Brandon. I nodded. I'm gonna kill him. No, I said. And this is when everything changed for me. When I felt something shift from devastation to something colder, sharper. I'm going to destroy them. Methodically, completely, and they won't even see it coming. I didn't sleep that night, I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. But somewhere around sunrise, the crying stopped, the shaking stopped, and I got very, very focused. Jessica and Brandon thought they were so clever, sneaking around behind my back. They were right about me being trusting, but they were about to learn that trust, once broken, doesn't come back. It transforms into something patient, into something that waits for the perfect moment to strike. I stayed at Marcus's for 2 days, went to work, acted completely normal. No one could know yet. Jessica blew up my phone. I sent one text. Stay at a hotel. I need space. Brandon texted too. Bro, Jessica told me you guys are fighting. Want to grab a beer? I stared at that message for a long time. The audacity, the performance. Bro, like we were still friends. Like he hadn't been fucking my wife for months. I didn't respond. Instead, I started researching. Oregon divorce laws, prenup enforcement, adultery clauses, surveillance legality. I made lists. What I needed to prove. Timeline of the affair. Physical evidence, financial evidence, pattern of lies. Not just that it happened. That it was systematic, ongoing, premeditated. Day 3, I booked a consultation with a divorce attorney named Sarah Chen, brought the prenup, explained the situation in clinical detail. She read through the documents. Oregon is a no-fault state, but your prenup makes adultery relevant for asset division. If you can prove it, she forfeits her claim to the house. What constitutes proof? Photos, videos, bank statements, texts, witnesses. The more the better. But most people don't have that. They have suspicions. I saw them. Now I'm going to document them. Sarah raised an eyebrow. There are legal boundaries to what you can and cannot do. She explained what was allowed. I took notes, stayed within the lines. Barely. That weekend I ordered discrete cameras online. Oregon law allows recording in your own home, as long as it's not in bathrooms or bedrooms. I placed cameras in the living room, kitchen, home office, and entry points. Got a GPS tracker for Jessica's car. Retrieved deleted texts using recovery software. Found months of messages between her and Jay. Screenshots of everything. Backed up to 3 different drives. Then I did something that felt insane but necessary. I texted Jessica. Can we talk? I don't want to throw away our marriage. We met at a coffee shop. Public. Neutral. She was crying before she even sat down. I made a mistake. It was one time. I was confused. With Brandon? She froze, then nodded. Do you want to save our marriage? Yes. God, yes, I love you. Then we need time. I need to trust you again. But I want to try. Relief flooded her face. She thought she'd gotten away with it. Hook, line, sinker. Jessica moved back home. I stayed in the spare bedroom. Told friends we were working through a rough patch. This gave me access to her patterns, her communications, her movements, all while maintaining the appearance of being completely unaware. I read her texts in real time. Jessica to Brandon. Is he suspicious? Brandon to Jessica. Think so. Jessica. No, he believes it was a one-time thing. He's so naive. I read that message sitting at my desk at work. Had to take a break. Walked outside. Stood in the parking lot, clenching my fists so hard my nails drew blood. But I didn't react. Not yet. For the next 80 days, I documented everything. And I mean everything. I became obsessed with it. Marcus said I looked like a detective in a crime thriller, sitting at my laptop at midnight cross-referencing timestamps. Emily worried I was losing myself in the revenge. But I couldn't stop. Every new piece of evidence felt like vindication. Proof that I wasn't crazy. that my gut had been right all along. Jessica would leave for a client meeting at 6 p.m. and the GPS would show Brandon's apartment by 6:25. The camera would catch her getting dressed up before a work event, spending 40 minutes on makeup and hair for what she claimed was a casual dinner with a potential seller. Bank statements showed hotel charges on nights I worked late, the Sentinel on a Tuesday, the Nines on a Thursday. The Heath man, of course, multiple times. Credit card showed Victoria's Secret purchases in sizes she didn't wear around me. A black lace set that I never saw. A red negligee that stayed hidden in the back of her drawer. I found text messages she thought she'd deleted. "He's working until 9 tonight, come over at 7. And Brandon's response, "I'll bring wine, the kind he likes just in case." The casual cruelty of that detail, using my own taste in wine to cover their tracks. I created a spreadsheet. Columns, date, time, Jessica's stated location, actual location, evidence type, Brandon's whereabouts, corroborating details. I color-coded it. Red for confirmed affair meetups, yellow for suspicious activity, green for the rare times she was actually where she said she'd be. The spreadsheet grew to 17 pages. Marcus helped me organize it into a presentation. "This is insane," he said, scrolling through the evidence. "Like FBI-level documentation. I want there to be no question," I told him. "No room for doubt. No way for them to spin this as a misunderstanding or a one-time mistake." Emily provided emotional support, but questioned the obsession. "Danny, I'm worried about you. You're not sleeping. You're barely eating. Is this healthy?" "Healthy?" I laughed. It sounded bitter even to my own ears. "Nothing about this is healthy. But it's necessary." "Is it? You could just file for divorce. You have enough evidence already." "It's not about the divorce," I told her. "It's about making sure everyone knows the truth, making sure they can't lie their way out of this." I discovered things I wish I hadn't. Like the fact that they'd slept together for the first time in my house, in my guest room, on a night I was working a double shift covering for a sick colleague. The camera in the hallway caught them going in around 8 p.m., coming out around midnight. Brandon had texted me that night. "How's work, bro? You're such a dedicated dude. Patient care over everything." While he was fucking my wife in my house, I found receipts from a weekend trip to Cannon Beach. Jessica had told me it was a girls' weekend with her college friends. Instagram showed photos of her at the beach with captions about "needing this time with my girls." But the hotel receipt I found was for a king bed, not 2 queens. And the GPS data showed Brandon's car making the same trip, same dates, same hotel. They'd been building a whole parallel relationship, a shadow life. While I was planning our future, they were planning their next lie. "I'm proud of you," Emily said one night, "for not just reacting." "I'm reacting," I told her, just slowly. Around day 30, I discovered it was even worse than I'd thought. The affair had been going on for 8 or 9 months. It started around the time Brandon got engaged to Rachel, his girlfriend at the time. They'd been sleeping together in my house when I was at work. They'd gone on work trips together. Then I found out Brandon's engagement party was scheduled for day 91. Perfect. I hired a private investigator for 1 day. Got professional quality photos of them entering a hotel together during work hours. The PI looked sorry for me when he handed over the files. "This is always hard to see." "I've seen worse," I said. "I need it documented." I began creating a slideshow. Started innocently enough. Celebrating friendship, Brandon and Daniel through the years. Photos from college, road trips, graduation, games and parties. Then transitioned to my wedding, Brandon as groomsman. His speech about me being the most loyal guy he knew. Screenshots of our text threads where he talked about bro code. Then the evidence. Every hotel receipt, every text message, every lie, every betrayal. Time-stamped, dated, documented. Marcus saw the finished product. Jesus Christ, Daniel, this is nuclear. Good. Day 81, I met with Sarah again, presented the full evidence binder. This is comprehensive, she said, almost frightening. Will it hold up? Absolutely. When do you want to file? Day 92. What happens day 91? Justice. I maintained the working on our marriage facade for the full 90 days. Jessica thought we were healing. Brandon thought he was safe. That evening, Jessica said, I'm proud of us for fighting for this. Yeah, me too. Tomorrow's Brandon's engagement party. Are we going? Wouldn't miss it for the world. She smiled, kissed my cheek. Had no idea that in less than 24 hours her entire world would collapse. I slept soundly that night for the first time in 3 months. 90 days. That's how long I played the fool. Smiled while they lied. Said I love you while building a case that would destroy them. People say revenge is a dish best served cold. They're wrong. Revenge is a dish best served with receipts, timestamps, and a PowerPoint presentation. And I had all three. Brandon's engagement party was at McMenamin's Edgefield, this historic venue with an outdoor ceremony area and a beautiful ballroom for the reception. 80, maybe 90 guests, his family, Rachel's family, friends from work and college, co-workers. Jessica and I arrived together, keeping up appearances. Brandon greeted us at the entrance. Big smile, bro hug. My man, glad you made it. I hugged him back. Felt nothing. Jessica hugged Rachel, Brandon's fiancée. Congratulations, you look beautiful. Rachel was beaming. Sweet girl, graphic designer, genuinely kind. Didn't deserve what was about to happen. I felt sick about that part. Still do. Thank you, Rachel said. Brandon's so lucky to have friends like you guys. I shook her hand. You deserve the world. I meant it. Cocktail hour was normal. Mingling, small talk. I nursed a beer and watched Jessica and Brandon interact. They were careful not to be too familiar, but I saw the glances, the way they orbited each other even while talking to other people. Brandon's brother, Kyle, who was the best man, announced the schedule. Dinner at 7:30, speeches at 8:30, dancing after. I approached Kyle during cocktails. Hey man, I put together a little video tribute to Brandon. Can I play it during speeches? Oh, nice. Yeah, we have time before cake. Let's put you down for 9 p.m. Perfect. I set up my laptop with the projector. Tested it. The AV guy helped me connect everything. What's the video? He asked. Just some old photos. Trip down memory lane. Sweet. Always makes people cry. Oh, there'll definitely be tears. Dinner felt surreal. I was seated at a table with Jessica and some college friends. Everyone laughing, talking, normal party atmosphere. I barely ate. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Jessica whispered, You okay? You're quiet. Just thinking about our wedding. How beautiful it was. Me too, she squeezed my hand. I'm glad we fought for us. Under the table, my other hand gripped my phone with the slideshow backup, just in case. Speeches started at 8:30. Kyle gave a funny best man speech about Brandon being a player who finally found his match. Rachel's maid of honor got emotional, talking about how Brandon changed for Rachel. Both sets of parents spoke, welcomed each other's kids into their families. Brandon and Rachel kissed. Everyone applauded. Then Kyle said, One more surprise. Daniel Martinez, one of Brandon's oldest friends, put together a tribute video. The lights dimmed. I walked to the front, took the microphone. The screen lit up. Celebrating friendship. Brandon and Daniel through the years. Upbeat music. James Taylor's You've Got a Friend. Ironic as hell. Photos filled the screen. Freshman year dorm, spring break in Mexico, graduation day, watching basketball games, gaming tournaments, text overlays, brothers from another mother, and best friends for 11 years. The audience smiled, nodded, warm feelings all around. My voiceover. Brandon and I have been through everything together. I thought I knew him better than anyone. The slideshow shifted. Celebrating love. Wedding music played. Photos from my wedding 5 years ago. Brandon in his tux as my groomsman. Screenshot of his speech. Daniel is the most loyal guy I know. Me and Jessica saying our vows. A group photo of the three of us hugging, all smiles. Text overlay. Brothers, forever. Some people looked confused. Why was this about Daniel's wedding? But most still thought it was sentimental. My voiceover. Brandon stood by my side, promised to always have my back, and Jessica promised to love me, to be faithful. The music stopped. The screen went black for 2 seconds. Then text appeared. But sometimes we don't really know people. A screenshot filled the screen. Text message from Brandon to Jessica. Brandon, when's he working late next? Jessica, Thursday. We have until 10. Brandon, your place or mine? Jessica, ours, he'll never know. Audible gasps from the crowd. Someone yelled, "What the fuck?" Brandon stood up. Daniel, what are you? I spoke into the microphone. Sit down, Brandon. We're not done. Rachel's voice shaking. Brandon, what is this? The screenshots flooded the screen, each one staying up for 15 seconds, long enough to read, long enough to understand. Text threads spanning 8 months. I love you. Messages between them. Jessica, he's so clueless, LOL. Brandon, bro code, right? A photo from my hidden camera showing them in my living room, kissing on my couch. Bank statements, hotel charges, the Heath man on September 14th, our anniversary. GPS tracker data showing both of them at Brandon's apartment while I was at work. Instagram photos from Jessica's secret account. Locations matching Brandon's check-ins. The final image was the one that really did it. Security camera photo from the Heath man's gym area. Time-stamped 6:24 p.m. September 14th. Brandon and Jessica in the sauna doorway. Text overlay. Day of our 5th anniversary. The Heath man Hotel. While I checked in alone, they checked in together. The lights came up. Complete chaos. Rachel screaming at Brandon. You what? Jessica crying. Daniel, please, not here. Brandon's mother, hand over her mouth. Oh my God, Brandon! Kyle, red-faced. You fucked his wife. Guests pulling out phones, some filming, some texting, some just staring in shock. People yelling, some at Brandon and Jessica, some trying to console Rachel, who was sobbing into her maid of honor's arms. Brandon tried to approach me. Bro, I can explain. I stepped back, spoke into the microphone so everyone could hear. Don't call me bro. Don't call me friend. You're nothing to me. I turned to Rachel. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. I felt like the worst person in the world for doing this to her. But she needed to know. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. But you deserve to know who you were about to marry. Rachel couldn't even respond, just sobbed. Jessica grabbed my arm. Please, can we talk? I pulled away. We'll talk in court. Divorce papers will be filed Monday. You might want to find a good lawyer and a new place to live. I walked out. Marcus, who'd known the plan, followed me outside. Holy shit, man. Are you okay? I don't know. Ask me tomorrow. Behind us, we could still hear screaming, crying, total chaos. Brandon came outside. Daniel. I turned around. How could you do that? In front of everyone. I almost laughed. How could I? You fucked my wife, in my house, on my anniversary, for 8 months. And you want to know how I could embarrass you? I was going to tell you. When? At your wedding. At your baby shower. Fuck you, Brandon. Brandon's father appeared in the doorway. Brandon, get inside. You're done here. I left, drove to Emily's house. The adrenaline started wearing off. I made it to her living room before I completely broke down. Just collapsed. crying harder than I ever had in my life. Emily held me. "You did it. It's over." But I was shaking my head. "No, it's just beginning." I don't know what I expected to feel. Relief, satisfaction, victory. Instead, I felt empty, hollow, like I'd just set fire to my own life along with theirs. But you know what? It was necessary. They deserved to feel what I felt. That moment of realizing everyone knows what you did. That look of horror when you understand there's no talking your way out. No more lies, no more secrets. Just the raw, ugly truth in front of everyone you care about. Was it cruel? Maybe. But it was also justice. The next morning, I woke up at Emily's house to 127 messages and 43 missed calls. Social media was exploding. Multiple guests had posted video clips of the slideshow. The internet did what the internet does. Texts from friends. "Holy shit, dude. I can't believe Brandon did that. Are you okay? That was the craziest thing I've ever seen." Also, texts from Jessica's family. Her sister. "You humiliated her publicly. That's abuse." I didn't respond to anyone. Sarah called. "I saw the video. Bold move. Are you ready to file?" "Yes." Divorce papers were filed that Monday. Jessica was served at her sister's house where she'd been staying. She tried calling me 47 times that day. Finally texted, "Please, can we talk in person? I'm begging you." I responded once, "Through lawyers only." Jessica's attorney tried to negotiate. Sarah shut it down immediately. She forfeited the house per prenup. The adultery is proven, non-negotiable. Jessica had 30 days to move out. Rachel broke off the engagement immediately, returned the ring, lost the venue deposits, posted on Instagram, "I dodged a bullet. Thank you to the friend who showed me the truth." The comments were overwhelming, supportive, angry at Brandon, praising her strength. Brandon tried texting me for weeks. I blocked him on everything. His parents cut him off financially. His brother Kyle posted on Facebook about being disappointed. Brandon's perfect image, the one he'd carefully curated his whole life, was destroyed in 17 minutes. Jessica's real estate career collapsed. Her boutique agency asked her to leave. Too image-based a business. Clients pulled listings. "We want someone we can trust." She lost thousands in potential commissions. Brandon's tech startup didn't fire him, but his upcoming promotion got put on hold. Co-workers treated him differently. Sales numbers dropped. Our mutual friend group dissolved. The group chat that had existed for 8 years. Dead. Friday game nights. Over. Annual camping trip. Cancelled. People had to choose sides. Most chose mine. I had evidence. They had betrayal. But some people thought I went too far. He could have just divorced her quietly. Ruining the engagement party was over the line. Rachel didn't deserve that. That last one bothered me, because they were right. Rachel didn't deserve it. 3 weeks after the engagement party, I got a call from an unknown number. Rachel's maid of honor. "You need to know something. Rachel's been hospitalized. Panic attacks. Can't sleep, not eating. Her therapist is calling it a traumatic event." My stomach dropped. "I know what they did was wrong," she continued, "but Rachel was innocent, and you destroyed her engagement party. That was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. I didn't know how else to. Just thought you should know the collateral damage." She hung up. I sat there for a long time, called Emily. "Did I go too far?" "You did what you thought was right. But yeah, Rachel didn't deserve that." First crack in my certainty. A week later, Jessica's mom called. "Whatever she did, she's still human. She's devastated." "She devastated me first." "You're right. But I'm asking you as a mother to consider mercy. The divorce, fine, but the public thing, it's following her everywhere." I hung up, but I felt unsettled. I'd wanted them to hurt, and they were, badly. Brandon posted a long apology on Facebook. "I did something unforgivable. I betrayed my best friend. I destroyed Rachel's trust. I'm seeking therapy. The comments were brutal. Too little too late. You're only sorry you got caught. But some said, everyone makes mistakes. Glad you're getting help. I read it and felt nothing. Marcus said he was trying to rehab his image. I said let him try. The next few months were dark for everyone. Jessica on antidepressants, living with her sister, career gone. Brandon in a cheap apartment, demoted at work, seeing a therapist twice a week. And me. I felt vindicated but hollow. I'd lost my best friend, my wife, my friend group, my normal life. Victory felt empty. Emily asked, "Are you happy?" "I'm satisfied. That's different." The weirdest part? Jessica and Brandon tried dating for real after everything. They'd destroyed everything for each other, so they figured they might as well be together. It lasted 3 weeks. Turns out the affair was exciting because it was forbidden. Without the sneaking around, they had nothing. Plus, every mutual friend judged them. Every place they went, someone had seen the video. They broke up. Jessica told someone it was a mistake. All of it. 6 months after the engagement party, we had our final divorce hearing. Jessica looked different. Thinner, sadder, older somehow. The judge reviewed everything. House goes to Mr. Martinez. Assets divided as outlined in prenup. Jessica nodded. No fight left. Outside the courthouse, she approached me. "Daniel, can we talk? Just for a minute." "I don't think—" "Please. You don't have to say anything. Just listen." I nodded. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know I don't deserve it. But I need you to know I'm sorry. Not because I got caught. Because I genuinely hurt someone who loved me. That's going to haunt me forever." "Good." She nodded. "Yeah, good. You deserved better." We walked away from each other. Sarah asked how I felt. Free and tired. I started therapy a week later. Dr. Patricia Morrison. First session, I told her everything. What do you want from therapy? To stop feeling angry all the time and to trust people again. Not sure that's possible. It's possible, but trust isn't about going back to how you were. It's about building something new. Over the next several months, I worked through a lot, processed the betrayal, understood that my nice guy tendencies had enabled people to take advantage of me, learned to set boundaries, dealt with the guilt about Rachel. I realized I'd ignored red flags because I was conflict avoidant. I wanted to believe the best in people, even when evidence suggested otherwise. Dr. Morrison helped me see that being kind doesn't mean being blind. I started reconnecting with life, photography, hiking, cooking, got closer with Emily and my parents. My mom said, "We're proud of how you handled it." Well, mostly. The engagement party was a lot. Yeah, it was. But they supported me. Around month 10, I got an email from Rachel. Subject, "Thank you, I think." She explained that she'd been in therapy too. Realized she'd dodged a bullet. Was angry about how she found out. But not that she found out. "You saved me from marrying someone who would have cheated on me eventually. I wish it had been private. But I also get that you were hurt and angry. I'm not ready to be friends. Maybe never. But I wanted you to know I don't hate you." I wrote back apologizing for the collateral damage. She responded, "Apology accepted." We never spoke again, but I felt lighter. Emily convinced me to try dating. "I'm not ready." "Then just browse, see what's out there." I made a profile. Brutally honest. Recently divorced, working through trust issues, looking for something slow and genuine. Met a woman named Allison, teacher. Coffee date. Easy conversation. "What happened with your marriage?" "She cheated with my best friend." "Jesus, I'm sorry. I'm working through it." Fair warning. I'm probably going to be paranoid and need reassurance sometimes. I appreciate the honesty. We dated casually for a few months. It didn't turn serious, but it helped me remember how to connect with someone. Around month 13, I ran into Brandon at a coffee shop. We made eye contact. He froze. I nodded slightly. He nodded back. No words. He looked rough. Weight gain, tired eyes. Marcus asked later how it felt. Like seeing a stranger who used to be my friend. I joined a hiking group. Made new friends who didn't know my history. Refreshing to just be Daniel, not the guy who destroyed an engagement party. I saw Jessica at Target once. She was with a man laughing. She looked healthier, happier. She didn't see me. I watched for a moment and realized I hoped she was okay. Not forgiveness, but I was no longer actively wishing her pain. Healing looks like indifference. People keep asking if I've forgiven them. Jessica, Brandon, the answer is no. I don't know if I ever will. But forgiveness isn't the same as healing. Healing is waking up and not immediately thinking about what they did. Healing is going on a date and not assuming she's lying. Healing is seeing their faces and feeling nothing instead of rage. I'm not there yet. Not completely. But I'm closer. 2 years after that night in the hotel sauna, I'm sitting in my house. Fully mine now. I've repainted, rearranged, made it my space. New furniture, new memories, photos on the walls from hiking trips, family gatherings, new friends. No wedding photos, no traces of Jessica. Brandon's blocked on everything. Haven't heard from him in a year. I'm dating someone new. Megan, architect. We met through mutual friends, not apps. Slow build, lots of communication. She knows the story, doesn't judge. Do you trust me? She asked last week. I'm learning to. It's hard. I'll wait. Jessica moved to Seattle, apparently. New real estate job, in therapy, doing volunteer work now, trying to balance karma, according to a mutual friend. I don't follow her on social media. Don't need to know more than that. Brandon's still in Portland. Different job, lower paying. Family relationship strained, but healing. Kyle mentioned Brandon talks about regretting everything. I feel nothing about it. Not satisfaction, not pity, just acknowledgement. I still see Dr. Morrison, monthly. Down from weekly. Recent session. Do you still think about the engagement party? Sometimes, I wonder if I'd do it differently. Would you? Honestly, probably not. I needed to take my power back, and that's how I knew to do it. Do you regret it? I regret that Rachel got hurt. The rest? No. Last week I drove past the Heathman Hotel by accident. Remembered that night, the gym, the sauna, the steam, their faces. I felt an ache, but not devastation. Just memory. I kept driving, went home to Megan. We cooked dinner together. Good day? She asked. Yeah, it was. And I meant it. People want to know if revenge was worth it. If I feel better. The truth? It's complicated. I don't regret exposing them. They deserved consequences. But I also learned that revenge doesn't erase pain. It just transforms it. The old Daniel died in that hotel stairwell. The one who trusted blindly, who ignored red flags, who thought being nice meant being naive, and honestly. Good riddance. The new Daniel is harder, more cautious. Some might say damaged, but I prefer aware. I know now that actions have consequences. For everyone, including me. Jessica lost her marriage, her reputation, her friends. Brandon lost his fiancée, his best friend, his family's respect. And I lost my innocence. The belief that people who love you won't hurt you. Was it worth it? Ask me on a bad day, I'll say no. Ask me on a good day like today, cooking dinner with someone who actually respects me. I'll say yes. Because I'm free. Free from lies. Free from people who didn't value me. Free to build something real. And that, more than any revenge, is the real victory. I thought I knew you, Jessica. I thought I knew you, Brandon. Turns out I didn't, but more importantly, I didn't really know myself. Now I do, and that makes all the difference.